Awesome! Welcome to the last part 5 of this 5-part mini-series on how to increase your client base. In this last video, we will look at not how to increase your client base, but actually how to get clients coming back for more. You know, it's not always about getting more and more clients into the door. One of the best ways is actually to get repeat businesses from past clients. And that's what I want to show you in this last video. So let's delve into it. Alright, so let's talk about underpromising and overdeliver. Okay, if you can get this right, you will set yourself up for success with any client you're working with, and that is to underpromise and overdeliver. So what does it mean to underpromise and overdeliver anyway? Well, the easiest way to look at it is by looking at the opposite. For example, let's say you got hired for a project and you made yourself look like the best engineer or producer out there who can get the best results ever. And when you finally enter the studio, you have no idea what you're doing. Maybe you have no idea on how to run the gear, what mic to use, you have no vision for the sound, etc. And all you can do after your big talk is to produce a mediocre sound for the band. Then you have overpromised and underdelivered. And the client will not be impressed and will most likely not come back and work with you again. The preferred outcome you want is when a client says, we already had high expectations, but this has exceeded those. That is a perfect example of having underpromised and overdelivered on your work. Okay, so let's talk about being prepared. This does tie in with underpromising and overdeliver, but I can tell you how important it is to be prepared. It doesn't matter if it's a studio session, if it's a live gig, if it's editing a podcast, whatever it can be, whatever you get hired for, you have to show up being prepared. That means know the gear you will use, know how to mic stuff up, what software you will use, make sure you know how to run that software, etc. You don't want to show up and start freaking out because you can't find the menu for the outputs and how the signal flow is in a particular console. You want to know this before you show up to a gig. Next one, show up on time. There's nothing worse if you're working with someone who is always late and puts you in a situation where you have to work faster and under more stress. So don't be that guy. Also, showing up on time, preferably early, shows that you respect the project and that you are prepared. It also makes for a much easier, relaxed setup, which is the way I prefer to work, to be honest. And if something breaks, which it always will, you have time to fix it. Okay, so be available. Being available is really important, especially when you have a new gig. Even if they call you last minute and it's a Friday night or you had other plans for the weekend, be available. This allows your client to be able to rely on you if something happens, which is a great way to get continuous work from them. It can be painful to say yes sometimes, but it will be rewarding for you and the client long term. Okay, so serve the client. Always have the mindset of how you can best serve your client. You want to put their needs, dreams, and struggles ahead of yours. It is in your best interest to be able to articulate your client's dreams and struggles, even better than they can, and to present them with a solution to those problems or dreams. That's why in the Client Booster course, I show you the importance of getting your client on a phone or a Skype call, and that way you can learn more about them, and it allows you to present them with different solutions in the form of a business proposal. Also, serve your client can sometimes also mean that based on what they want, a cheaper option can be better, or even a more expensive option than they initially thought. Even if they came to you with a nice big budget and they have the money, if you know that based on their dreams and struggles that all the money is not necessary, then it's your duty to let them know that and save your client money too. Or maybe you found that spending a little more money can really allow them to fulfill their dreams, then it's your duty to let them know that too. So that's serving your client. Okay, let's do a quick recap of what we just spoke about. So 1, the importance of underpromise and overdeliver. Remember, the best way is when a client says, We already had high expectations, but these results, for example, exceeded those. That's an awesome way of having under promised but over delivered. Second, be prepared. Don't show up to a session or a live gig, whatever you hired for, and not be prepared. Know the console you're going to use, know how to mic the drums up, know which mics to use, preamps, all that sort of things. And third, show up on time. This is a given, but some people might not think about it, but you don't want to be the person who is holding the session up, whether that's, again, a recording session, live gig, a game thing, whatever it can be you're hired for. Show up on time, and preferably early, actually. That shows you are prepared and that you're showing the project respect. And be available, which is really important when you're starting out and it's a new client. Even if it's a Friday night and they call you and say, hey, can you come in? We really need you, etc., etc. Say yes, even though it might be painful. It can be really worth it, especially in the beginning, and for them to come back and hire you for other projects. And the last point, which we spoke about in the previous videos, is to serve the client. Always have the client in mind and how you can serve them the best way possible. And that takes into account knowing their dreams, their goals, their struggles, and for you to give them solutions to those problems and dreams and goals in the form of a business proposal, for example, like we speak about in the Client Booster course, for example. I show you how to do that there. This is the last video of the 5-part series. I hope it's been helpful. And actually, before you leave, there's a free guide you can download right away. It's called 3 Tested Ways to Increase Your Client Base. In this guide, you can learn my tested email script of how to contact brands online, how to find clients in real life, and how, again, to get clients coming back for more. Check it out. It's free. Just enter your email and I'll send it to you right away. But that's it. I hope you found this mini-series helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments below as well. And I'll see you guys soon.